There are quite a few good online businesses that were listed for sale since the last time I looked 10 days ago on December 5th, 2022. Today, right now, it's December 15th, 2022. And today we're going to look at an SBA pre-qualified e-commerce brand in the sound and healing niche that's been in business for 22 years, a 4-year-old ergonomic chair and desk business, a 12-year-old WordPress subscription management business, and maybe, if we have time, depending on how long it takes and how long I run on those three, maybe this 7-year-old content site in the outdoors Optic niche. So if you're not familiar with myself and this series, I'm Corey. I've been in the online business world since 2009 when I started an e-commerce business. I ultimately sold that in 2012, shifted gears, and I ran a bunch of offline home service businesses. And today, well, I still own a few offline home service businesses, and I also own an online business, and I'm looking to acquire more online businesses. That's where my focus is right now because, hey, let's face it, it is a lot nicer to run an online business where everything lives in your computer and most of your workforce is independent contractors as opposed to employees and reliable independent contractors at that, than it is offline businesses. And oh yeah, online businesses scale really well. So I try to make these videos every week or so when I go through listings and find good listings and give my own experience-based insight, opinion, and anecdotes on the business. And one thing I will say is that I tend to focus more on businesses, online businesses that are not content websites. They have a product or service behind them. I do not like content websites very much. I will say content website businesses are very good to own. They're nice to own, right? Because they don't have a lot of cost and they just kind of produce money, but they're very bad businesses to buy. And that is because they're often entirely reliant on free organic traffic from Google, which, as you might know, if you've been in the business long enough, that can stop at any time. So I like businesses that can sustain themselves with paid customer acquisition. On that note, let's jump into it. Our first one here, this one from Website Closers, the SBA pre-qualified e-commerce brand in the sound and healing and alternative medicine niche, 22 years in business, 27% repeat order rate, and in true Website Closers fashion, they have a very long, drawn-out information detail on it that we'll have to kind of flesh out. I like that it's SBA pre-qualified because SBA, does a level of due diligence for that. So even if you're not using SBA, it's nice to see that they've kind of done the diligence on it and that this could be financed by SBA. SBA financing will often prohibit you, which may be good or bad, from buying a highly speculative business or asset. Anyways, I like that it's been in business 22 years. That's one of the first things I always look for. And that is opposed to businesses that have been in business for a very short period of time. You often see that in online businesses. Somebody kind of creates a business, strikes it rich with it, so to say, things spike up, and they're like, I'm going to exit before it ultimately blows up because, more competitors enter the market or they exploit their entire market. And a 27% repeat order rate is very high. Now I'm going to go down to the bottom here and get the numbers on it first. Cash flowing $379,000, asking $1.2 million. So they're asking like a 3.5x multiple. Established in the year 2000, income $897,000. Let's see what we can pick out from it here. The company specializes in working with solfeggio frequencies, specifically energy tuners and forks, to clear energy blocks and awaken humanity to their potential. Their vibration tools sold by the brand act as a channel for customers to explore the abundant training courses. All right. So what that sounds like to me is they're selling some kind of low-level, low-ticket product, and ultimately that can funnel them into training courses. So it sounds like there's a digital product as well as a physical product behind it. Customers generally complete a course and then move on to another, more advanced variant, which increases their lifetime value and personal knowledge. Many pursue certification, which requires the completion of numerous courses. However, income does not stop there for the business. A certified practitioner spread the message worldwide. Okay, so it seems like they're certifying practitioners, or they are. The brand has positioned itself as the gold standard in its niche and as a result, obtains more new customers despite being on the higher end in terms of price point. They are leaders of a movement, awakeners, and they're following. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Let's get something good. How are they selling this? The physical products driving revenue are a selection of tuning forks made from custom-made for the brand to its specification. They act as an acoustic resonator in the form of a two-pronged fork, and the prongs formed from a U-shaped bar It resonates at a specific frequency. They're sourced through a domestic supplier. They're proprietary and may not be sold to anybody else. They have 40 products, 20 kits. Operations are uncomplicated. Given the abundance of training material produced over the years, the systemized nature of the company, and an excellent supply chain, a buyer could transition seamlessly into the role as business thrives. They will receive as much assistance as necessary. Ownership is motivated to move quickly with the right buyer. I did see something in here about seminars or conventions. Here we go. When the company started 22 years ago, the owner would attend expos for mind, body, and spirit. His booth was met with skepticism, ignorance, and apathy more often than not. Yet he persevered with a strong conviction in the benefits of the practice. Small workshops were offered in each city after an expo, and attendance eventually grew. They work with influencers in a social media campaign. The tail now wags the dog, certified teachers. Okay, so it seems like this is started as an offline brand and eventually grew online, which there's nothing wrong with that at all, because now you've still got this website that's been online, and I'm guessing for, the most recent period, let's just say the last 10 years, this thing has been probably entirely or primarily online. Now, I actually like the niche that this is in here, and I recently was introduced to, I don't want to say sound healing because I don't get into it at that level, but sound frequency stuff that can kind of adapt your mind to what you need to be. If you need to be high focus, you need to calm, etc. So I kind of was introduced to that recently, and I listened to some of the tunes on like YouTube or something, but I really don't go any deeper than that, but I like it. Like, it really helps me. Like, at the end of the day, I work from home. At the end of the day, when I leave my home office and drive to wherever I'm going to go, I always try to leave after I finish my workday. I'll either drive to the gym or I'll drive to where I'm going to be doing a run or errands if I have to do that. I'll always like calm down by putting on that music. So this interests me, and the niche is growing. Check this out. I put sound healing into Google Trends. We can see a nice little trend line, going positive here. So I think that is pretty cool. I think that's pretty good. I kind of like that niche that it's in. But more specifically on this business, I like that it's been around for 22 years. It's been around for 22 years, and it's got a online component, a digital product component, which are the courses and the certification, along with the physical products. So you kind of get the best of both worlds there. I don't know what they're doing for advertising exactly, but they're working with influencers. Maybe that channel could grow, or you could leverage that up with paid advertising. So yeah, I really like this business, and the goods themselves are very small, lightweight, and easy to ship. There's 3 things I like about an online e-commerce business. Whole another tangent, and one of them is small, lightweight, and easy to ship. This is an interesting business model here, interesting business. I'd be interested in learning more about this business. I like this one. Let's go on to our next one here. This 4-year-old ergonomic chair and desk business with multiple revenue channels and massive growth. Multiple revenue channels can be good or it can be scary. Let's find out more about that. Their income is $326,000, and they're asking a 2.49 multiple, which is very low, I think, for this type of business. Does not include inventory. Notice they're saying plus inventory. The ergonomic chair and standing desk business was started in 2018. It gained traction by selling to businesses and positioning itself as the go-to high-quality, affordable option for outfitting in office. At the start of the pandemic, many clients closed their doors, forcing the business to pivot to e-commerce. The business hired a marketing team, expanded inventory, and began advertising on social media. This challenge allowed them to successfully transition from a PO-based business to an e-com business. Simultaneously, the business launched a brand to service contract dealer clients. Okay. In doing so, they brought on commission reps and began drop shipping for this segment of the market. Due to budgetary constraints, the business paused marketing, and as a result, sales declined. Now, most sales come from contract furniture dealers and manufacturers who prefer purchasing from the business in small batches rather than from overseas producers. The owner is a strong salesperson, but is not an expert on growing an e-commerce business and wants to sell so he can focus on other things. Okay. There's a lot in here that I like and some things I'm curious about. What I'm really curious about is where are the sales coming from now? And it seems like they're coming from, Most sales come from contract furniture dealers and manufacturers who prefer purchasing from the business in small batches rather than overseas producers. So where does this business have its inventory, right? And are they producing the inventory? Are they outsourcing production and inventorying it here? That seems a little wonky. I'd want to get to the bottom of this. And how much facility do they have to have? They don't say. The next owner can take advantage of the strong foundation built on quality products and strong manufacturing relationships. Yeah, so we don't really know what's up with their inventory and where this stuff is being produced. If they're producing it elsewhere and then just warehousing it here in the United States, I kind of like that. If they're physically manufacturing these desks, this is a whole nother business model. That's not an online business. Given that it's Quiet Light, who deals in online businesses pretty much exclusively, I would hope and guess that they're inventorying it here. But it's still funny that they say, and manufacturers who prefer purchasing from the business in small batches. Why is a manufacturer purchasing an already manufactured desk? Now, what I really like about this business, particularly as someone that is very experienced with paid ads and likes growing business with paid ads, is this line right here. Due to budgetary constraints, the business paused marketing, and as a result, sales declined. It just means they couldn't finance the ad spend. Maybe they weren't running ads very well to begin with, but that to me signals that they had success with the ads, but just could not get the financing part of it down right. And sometimes you do have to spend money up front to realize the full lifetime value of the customer. That's the nature of business, and a lot of people that get into direct consumer businesses don't realize that. You might have to spend money on ads for months before things really kind of rocket ship offward. And the owner is not an expert at growing an e-commerce business, right? So this person is not in the e-commerce space. So I think this provides a lot of opportunity for somebody that is experienced with online businesses, e-commerce businesses, and advertising. Let's go on to our next deal here. The 12-year-old WordPress subscription management business, $306,000 of seller's discretionary earnings, asking $828,000. So a 2.7x multiple. Again, I think that's a pretty good number. Very fair multiple, I will say, on these two listings here from Quiet Light. Started in 2010, this subscription-based service offers on-demand WordPress website management for small business owners. Trailing 12 months revenue is $552K with an SDE of 306. Nice margins. The business ranks high for value keywords with Google. In 2019, the owner shifted the business from a busy marketing and website agency model to its current subscription-based WordPress management service. This change led to higher margins, a leaner team, and predictable revenue while reducing owner stress. Yeah, I could see that. The owner built solid systems and processes across all aspects of the business to remove herself from most day-to-day. Growth opportunities revolve around scaling the streamlined services through better marketing efforts. A few marketing initiatives include launching an affiliate program, refining the business around the new business model, and focusing marketing efforts towards small businesses. I'm trying to unpack things here as I read it and having thoughts about what I'm going to say. The current owner works about 20 hours per week, but has recently taken over design work, which could be outsourced in the future. She is looking to move on to focus on high-ticket consulting with large enterprises. Business is not eligible for an SBA loan due to growth over the past 18 months. Okay, so this business is seemingly competing with a company like WP Curve or WP Valet, where they manage your WordPress website and probably offer unlimited or a fixed number of changes for a certain dollar amount every month. So it's all recurring revenue, but it seems like they just shifted to this and just started doing well. Note the business is not eligible for an SBA loan due to large growth over the past 18 months. So if the business is doing well and it's producing a high margin, why does the owner want to move on? That is my big question. And according to this, what is in the listing, and I always say this is just complete and utter bullshit, right? You really need to figure this out for yourself. You can't rely on asking somebody. But she is looking to move on to focus on high-ticket consulting with large enterprises. Well, to do that, she does not need a cash outflow of $828,000 to get started. to be quite frank. So yeah, I mean, that just seems kind of, I don't want to say murky, but the math doesn't add up there. Maybe the owner, and ultimately as the buyer, this is kind of, again, irrelevant. It's nice to know, but you never really know the real reason. Maybe the buyer just wants $828,000 in cash and say, fuck it, I'm out for a couple years. Or maybe the business is just running her ragged. We really don't know. You don't know until you kind of start getting into it and seeing how many independent contractors or workforce is behind this business. I am a bit alarmed by this at the saying that she is taking over design. Like, why is she taking over design? You can pretty easily outsource design. So that would be something that I'd want to look forward into. Overall, though, I kind of like the business, right? Like, I like the subscription-based aspect of it. I do think the WordPress management thing is growing in popularity. It may be past its peak in growth, but I would also say that she got into it past its peak in growth. Nonetheless, you have a 12-year-old website here that has been successful at generating business for WordPress management services, and that assumes that all of her customers are not rolled over. So I'd really want to check that out. Right? Like, where did these customers come from? Are these all customers that have rolled over from whatever she was offering before? And, she got them through some other means other than just straight up selling a WordPress management service? Or are they legitimately acquiring new customers from offering that service? I would say that is the number one most important thing you need to dissect about this business. And finally, could you grow this with paid ads? Absolutely. At these margins right here, it's got over a 50% margin right here. You could certainly scale that up with paid advertisements. I like this business, but I like this business. Yeah, I like it. I can't say I don't like it, but I would really want to find out. And the big deciding factor would be, for me, and I think for any buyer, would be, where are these customers coming from? Finally, I guess we'll look at it here since I'm on a roll. How long have we been recording? Like 20 minutes? This 7-year-old content site in the outdoors Optic niche. Now, content sites can be highly flimsy businesses. They are flimsy businesses. Not they can be highly flimsy. They are highly flimsy. And that is because they're entirely reliant on Google traffic. This one here has been around for 7 years, so it stood the test of time in the internet space. It is the go-to resource for hunters and outdoors enthusiasts for all their optics questions. Trailing 12-month revenue, 156, SDE, 149. Even with that high of an SDE on a content business, what that tells me is that they're not investing a lot of money in content, or haven't over the last 12 months, probably because they want to sell it, so they're just going to try and goose up that SDE as opposed to investing in content. 9 revenue sources and 0 ad revenue. The top 2 revenue sources are 42%, the top 2 revenue accounts account for 42 and 40% of revenue. Amazon Associates, is that one of them? Not really sure. Amazon Associates is a big part of it, but they don't really mention anything else. On average, this site sees 100K page views a month with 926K users, blah, 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 gets a lot of traffic. It has stable revenue and a strong backlink profile with links from Outdoor Life, Meat Eater, Popular Mechanics, and FWS.gov, the Fish and Wildlife Service. Good link. Opportunities for growth include placing ads on the site, expanding into other niches such as firearms, ammo, and prepping, courses, sponsored posts, and additional affiliate partnerships, email list monetization. Content is currently being created by a minority owner who will not transition with the business. That's very important. We'll come back to that in a second. Current owners are willing to provide a clear SEO and content strategy. The current content schedule is 0.65 articles per week over the past 18 months. The industry and site have a passionate fan base, blah, blah, blah. Not eligible for SBA either. Probably because it's a content site. I don't know. I like it. It's been in business 7 years. And it's got a bunch of good backlinks. They don't have any ads on the site. So I think that content websites that run a shitload of ads are going to be very short-lived because nobody likes it. Nobody likes it as a user landing on a website that is just plastered with ads. And I think Google is quickly, if they have not already, started the process of trying to filter those websites out of their rankings and kind of demote them because they're just not good for the user. The user doesn't want them. So if they haven't done that, that is very good. There are 9 revenue sources and 0 ad revenue. Let's just talk about that. Top 2 are Amazon. Top 2 revenue sources account for 42 and 44% of revenue. Amazon Associates. Is Amazon Associates 42 or 44, or is it 86? Or is it between 42 and 44? I'm not really clear. I guess that if the top one of them, or if one of the top, Amazon Associates, is only between 42 and 44, that's pretty good. It's not entirely dependent on it, so maybe they have some other affiliate revenue sources in there, which is pretty good. They've diversified. Now, they outline ways to grow, which I like. Ads on site, not a fan of that. Expanding into other niches, could do that. Courses, that's good. Sponsored posts and affiliate partnerships, yeah. Email list monetization. Also, you could get into an e-commerce product itself, launching your own e-commerce branded product. One of the big red flags that I see, not a red flag, but like just kind of like a yellow flag, is the fact that one of the owners creates all the content. It might only be 0.65 articles per week, but that's probably going to be some pretty high quality content. So I'd want to look into that, and I would start negotiating from the position of, hey, the SDE has to be adjusted downward to account for what I'm going to have to spend on creating content in this business. On that note, guys, that's a wrap. These are some online businesses that I think for this week are pretty good and interesting. I'll put the link below this video to all of these listings if you want to inquire on them and possibly buy one. If you buy one, I would love to hear from you. If you inquire on one, I'd love to hear from you. Reach out to me. Let me know in the comments below. And hey, if you found this video helpful and insightful, do me a sweet one. You know the drill. Help me out in the YouTube algorithm. Hit that like button. Do yourself a sweet one. Hit the subscribe button for more insight and insight and insight and insight and insight. I don't know what I was going to say there after insight on e-business. I'm signing off.